Yeah, we were trying to compete in the game, and we only have 48 guys on the team that are active for the game. And so we wanted to make sure that they went a good ways in this football game and competed at a high level. And then when we felt like it was right for them to get out of the game, then that's what we were going to do, slowly phase them out so that we get them ready for next week.
Why did you feel like that was important?
Well, we only get 2 practice squad elevations for the game, and you have to put a team out there. And you can't decide when you're having to play a football game who isn't going to play and who is going to play and how you're going to subtract this. You got to go out there and play the football game because we don't have. This isn't the preseason where you have 90 guys to choose from. You only have 48 players to choose from. So you have to go out there. You have to field a football team. And so we did it the best we could. We wanted to play well in the game, and then we wanted to be safe for next week, and that's what we did.
Welcome back. That was Brandon Staley of the Chargers as he was facing questions in that Week 18 loss to the Broncos. Again, as we spoke earlier, where he kept his starters in late in the game, and Mike Williams, the receiver, ended up injuring his back, and he did not play in the playoff game against the Jaguars. So there was still criticism after that game. I know it's been 4 months since that game happened, but again, the question is, why do you want to put your starters at risk, knowing that you have your playoff spot locked? He could have pulled out Herbert and put in Chase Daniels. And that's a common sense. You got to have backups, receivers, and running backs. That's just the bottom line. I just don't think he didn't plan well here. And I don't think he expected the Broncos to give a run for their money, knowing that they've been out of it already. So, I mean, we can keep arguing. We can give him pointers, or we can give him reasons, or we can give him reasons to be fired, but he made that choice. Unfortunately, it cost him a week later. And he's still the head coach of the Chargers, if many of you are still asking. But that's why they play this game. So let's talk about the Chargers more. 10-7, second in the AFC West. That division was pretty much decimated. Russell Wilson experiment didn't well in Denver. It didn't go well. The Raiders had a lot of last-second losses. Because they don't know what happened there. The Devontae Adams, Derek Carr relationship is over. Jimmy Garoppolo is now part of the Raiders. So, I mean, that's another team that can make a climb in the AFC West. These Chargers, for sure, will be contenders. And the Chiefs, who are the defending Super Bowl champions. So let's discuss their matchups in this coming season. So I picked a couple games that I'm going to be paying close eye on. The first one will be the first game of the season, opening day, against the Miami Dolphins. Yes, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey's debut as a Dolphin. I like to see how that defense is going to go well, because that defense is projected to be dangerous in the AFC East. This could be a potential wildcard matchup if they play their cards right. Their next matchup will be the Vikings in Week 3. It'll be their... it looks like they'll be on the road here. Then after that, they come back here. Week 4, they play the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a game I'm looking forward to. Week 6, they have a Monday night matchup with the Cowboys. And then Week 7, the first match with the champions, the Chiefs. And then Week 9, a Monday night matchup against the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. That one is definitely be worth watching. Week 12, they take on the Ravens. Week 14, they play the Broncos. And Week 16, they play the Bills. So one team that didn't make the playoffs is a game that I'm looking forward to because it's a division. We still don't know how the Broncos are going to be this year. It's still hard to tell. But with Sean Payton there, as I said in one of my earlier episodes, he's going to be a good fit for that Bronco organization. And I expect Denver to compete this season well in the AFC West. We talked about the Chargers offense. They have an offense. If those receivers can stay healthy, they got a chance to overtake the Chiefs. They can score points. We've seen them score points. Their defense just has to be improved more, and I think that's what Brandon Staley needs to focus on more is the defense. Khalil Mack came in, 50 tackles, 33 solo tackles, 8 sacks. Asante Samuel Jr., he had 57 tackles, 48 solo, and 2 interceptions. If you can get more sacks, more stops, maybe turnovers, most likely you can win the football game. To me, the key point of this is winning the turnover ratio. Especially if you're going to beat a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you have to play defense. They've played them close these last couple meetings. A couple months back, a couple years back, they played an overtime matchup. So we know the Chargers can run well with the Chiefs. They're not going to get blown out. They're going to put it up big when it comes to points. Herbert, he had a great season. 25 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. It shows that he has progressed well since his rookie season. But you're playing other teams here in this division. You got the Raiders, who are with Jimmy Garoppolo. And let's one thing clear. Jimmy Garoppolo is not one of those quarterbacks that's going to throw 300, 400 yards a game. Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those quarterbacks who is good at time-consuming, time possessions, keeping the ball, and keeping the clock running. And I think that's what the Raiders are good for. That's a good fit for him. He needs to run that clock for the Raiders. If you're going to win games, you have to keep your offense on the field. We know the Raiders' defense is good, but it's not that good eventually. They have to hold on to bigger leads. Because there were a lot of losses where they gave it up late in games, either with penalties, lack of offense, or just the defense was just tired. So that's what I see coming up here in this division. Now later on, we're going to talk about divisions. I'm going to give you my division winners. And I know it's still early in off season, but the way the free agency market is, the way these teams are making goals for it, I'm going to give you what I think as far as who will win this division. But I think I said this a couple years back. Actually, I said this last season. The AFC West was going to be a hard division because of the talent that came here. Russell Wilson came to the Broncos. Davante Adams came from the Packers. Of course, the Chargers were still weapons. And the Chiefs, of course, was the champions. I still say this is going to be a tough division. And the Chargers made some free agency moves. They brought back their right tackle, Trey Pipkins. Tight end, Donald Foreman, which will be a good backup to Everett. They brought in wide receiver Jalen Guyton and their center, Will Clapp. He's back here. So when you have, so far, not a lot of major agencies made so far, but this offense, you don't need to make the changes. Just keep Austin Eckler happy because, of course, he wanted a trade. Now, as of right now, we don't know. Size has stalled. We don't know what's going to happen. But you need to keep a guy like him. 915 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's been a great running back to Justin Herbert. Who is out there that could take over that? Unless you make a deal with the Rams, they were going to trade Cam Akers for Austin Eckler, but those talks broke down. Still there. So we'll have to see what happens. So go ahead and comment and tell me what you think so far about the Rams and the Chargers. The schedule's out. Just tell me how many games they'll win, and we'll see. We'll go from there. Coming up on the program, We're going to talk about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, a Jet. Why will this work the second time with a former Packer quarterback? I'll give you my reasons right after this. You're listening to Sports Talk with Ed, our NFL schedule release special.